shit. Why they gotta fuck shit up? You know, this shit pisses me the fuck off. All these writers do is take the classics and ruin the fucking shit. It's like they sit there one day and say, hey, I had nothing to write today. What story can we take to fuck it up? A good example of this can be found in the Gwen Stacy stories. The Death of Gwen Stacy was a 2-issue story arc between issues 121 and 122. And since those issues, other writers tried to recapture the magic of that story. They done everything from cloning Gwen Stacy to giving her kids that no one knew about, and I'm not even going to get into the secret affair. I guess writers today are just like the people in Hollywood. They can't come up with their own ideas, so they just rape the classic. Good job, guys. You did a hell of a job. I can't believe people actually get paid for this. But regardless of what happens in the later issues of Amazing Spider-Man, one thing is for certain. Amazing Spider-Man 121 and 122 were awesome books and will forever be classics, no matter what they do to the story later. Amazing Spider-Man 121 was released in 1973 during a simpler time in comic history, when stories were told the correct way, when writers actually had talent. If you're new to the Spider-Man series, then you're probably not aware of who Gwen Stacy is or how important she was to the Spider-Man story. Gwen Stacy was brought in the movie scene in Spider-Man 3, but wasn't used the way she was created. In the first Spider-Man movie, Mary Jane was portrayed as the kind, sweet-hearted girl that was Peter Parker's true love. This couldn't be more false. In the comic, Mary Jane was a wild party girl and was only friends with Peter. Gwen was the kind and sweet-hearted one and was Peter's real love. And if it wasn't for the events in issue 121, then Peter and Mary Jane's marriage would never happen in the first place. Issue 121 was written by Gary Conway and was helped drawn by the legendary John Romita Sr. The issue starts out with Peter, Gwen, and MJ visiting Harry Osborn, who isn't feeling all that well due to his drug abuse. Damn it, Dad! No matter what I do, it's never good enough for you. Why don't you want me, Dad? Why? Norman, Harry's father, gets upset and blames Peter and his friends for Harry's addiction and kicks them out of the house. Get out! All of ya! Get out! You're the reason why my boy's a pill-popping dumbass! At this point in the comics, Norman suffers from amnesia and doesn't remember being the Green Goblin. But that changes quickly. After kicking Peter and the others out of the house, Norman suffers from a nervous breakdown and so remembers everything, turning back into the Green Goblin. Fair enough. I'll buy it. As Norman's first act is back as the Green Goblin, he kidnaps Peter's girlfriend, Gwen, and uses her as bait to lure him to the Brooklyn Bridge. Remember that first scene in the Spider-Man movie where Green Goblin has MJ on the bridge and drops her?
This is why only fools are heroes. Because you never know when some lunatic will come along with the sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love.
Yeah, that happened in the comic first. But it wasn't MJ. It was Gwen. And she wasn't as lucky as MJ. The Goblin drops Gwen Stacy off the bridge, and Peter uses his web to catch her just before she hits the ground. But it was too late. Gwen was already dead. The Goblin tells Peter that the mere height of the fall was enough to kill anybody before it hit in the bottom. Peter lays on the bridge with his dead girlfriend lying in his arm in what is one of the most memorable scenes in Spider-Man history. Spider-Man cries and yells out that he'll get vengeance on the Goblin no matter what. And this happens in the very next issue in Amazing Spider-Man 122. Even today, this is still one of the best Spider-Man comics of all time, and I'm happy to be one of those fans that owns this issue. Later on in the years, the story changed as new writers and artists came and left, with each trying to put their own touch on what happened 37 years ago. But no matter how much they mess up the original story, true fans look back and remember what Gary Conway and John Romita did in 1973. Well guys, that was issue 121 of Amazing Spider-Man. I hope you guys learned something and realized that what happens in the movies is the complete opposite of what happened in the comics. Until next time guys, I'm StormsGeek and it's Comic Corner.